Happy New Year, friends! I am so excited for 2024. 2023 has been quite a year. In German we would say, I hope you've had a guten Rutsch. It kind of means like having a good slide into the new year. So today I'm going to talk to you about every single book I have read in 2024, and 2023. I'm sorry, I'm getting the years mixed up. But I have read 42 books in 2023, which is a little more than I have ever read previously, but it's still not close to what I really hope to read at some point. I'm actually a pretty slow reader. I don't read that fast. Like, I see other booktubers be like, oh, I've read 100 books this year, I've read 150 books this year, and like, that's so cool. I wish I could do that, but I just can't. If you're a slow reader as well, please let me remind you that it's not about speed. Like, reading is not about like reading as many books as possible and reading all of the books. Like, you read because you want to read and you read what you like. And if you've read any 5-star or any amazing book at all, any book that has stuck with you in 2023, that's completely enough, and I'm so happy for you that you found at least one book that has stuck with you. So I'm gonna review every single book with a few words, a few sentences, whatever comes to my mind, whatever I'm thinking of. And yeah, I'm also gonna put the rating somewhere here. Okay, so let's start off with the first book. And the first book that I've read in 2023 was Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is a wizardry book, libraries, magical libraries, Ghibli vibes. It was absolutely stunning. I loved it. Yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. Then I've read Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Fairy tale vibes, kisses, Prince of Hearts. It was absolutely amazing. Loved it. Also 5 out of 5 stars. Next I've read The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. A lot of mystery, a lot of riddles, rich boys, a very interesting plot, but it didn't hook me as much because I listened to it as an audiobook, and yeah, there were riddles inside this book, but I couldn't solve them because I listened to it as an audiobook. Then I've read Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was actually a reread because I really wanted to see the TV show and I was so excited for the TV show. And yeah, absolutely loved it. Stunning book. Everything. And the TV show is also everything. And then another reread, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, also for the TV show. Absolutely amazing book. Love it. 5 out of 5 stars as always. The characters will stick with you forever. Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. Autistic woman in a non-autistic world, in a neurotypical world, getting judged, getting pushed into a direction. Absolutely loved it. Phenomenal book. Such an important read. Then we have It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han. Second book in a series that I really enjoyed, but like, this one was really sad. A lot of grief, a lot of reflection, weird love triangle that I don't know, that is kind of getting solved, but I don't know. Still really enjoyed it, fun read, yeah. Then right after I've read We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han as well. Third book in the series. Kind of got weird at the end. Really weird character development and plot twists. Not really liked it. It was a little too much. Felix Ever After by Kirsten Calendar. Self-discovery, transgender identity, really getting to know yourself, growing up, art was really important to me and really taught me a lot. The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. Cliffhanger of my life. Vampires, absolutely amazing story. Super fast paced. Didn't let me go. So many plot twists. Very plot driven. And also fairy tale. All of that vibe. Today, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Academic Rivals to Lovers, Scavenger Hunt Across Seattle, absolutely cute, so memorable. Was so in love with this YA romance. Yeah. 5 Survived by Holly Jackson, the author of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is a standalone story set in an RV. Absolutely gripping, super unique main characters, didn't let me go, and the plot twist at the end was... what? Then I've read Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. It's about a woman working in chemistry, breaking stereotypes, super interesting main character, super lovable dog, like wow. And the whole concept, the whole story is still with me. If You Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan, 2010 love story, very, very heartbreaking, and even though kind of expectable, very unexpected. One of my absolutely favorites this year, loved it to death. I'm building a stack here and I don't know if it's gonna fall at some point. Different Not Less by Chloe Hayden, a non-fiction memoir about what it means to be autistic and ADHD. Very important for myself as I'm a neurodivergent person. The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Super bland main character, trying out different lives. Not really what I expected, a lot more boring than I expected. Didn't grip me as much. The Housemaid by Freda McFadden. A housemate coming into her house with a neurotic boss. Thriller, kept me on the edge of my seat. Absolutely mind-blowing plot twist at the end. Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, super important political message, especially in today's times with the whole war in Gaza. Poor versus Rich, Life or Death, super intense, gripping, wild. Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. 2 timelines, 2 outcomes in life. Very interesting concept, but not what I hoped it would be. All That's Left in the World by Eric J. Brown. A post-apocalyptic story about a pandemic, 2 boys falling in love. Super cute, super wholesome, very plot and character driven. Loved it. Absolutely amazing. Only Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsujimura. Magical Mirror Gate. Magical Castle. Children Who Don't Want to Go to School. Very relatable. Very deep. Super magical. Loved it. Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. Great sequel. Was also just as intense, but I didn't quite love it as much as the first one. Better Than the Movies by Ellen Painter. Super hyped romance story. Didn't quite reach my expectations. Didn't stick with me at all. Was kind of cute, but nothing more to me. The Daydreams by Laura Henkin, a teen TV show reunion. Went very differently than expected. Very interesting concept of the whole story. Told from the TV show's villain's point of view, which was super interesting. Didn't stick with me as much as I first thought it would. Yeah. It was my number 1 about 6 months ago, but isn't anymore. Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins, final installment in the Hunger Games series. Really intense, really political. It was amazing and very sad, but didn't quite reach the first book for me. The first book will always be my number 1. A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. This one completely changed my life. It was a whole month experience of reading this one because it was so hard to read. Absolutely loved it. So traumatizing and a lot of trauma being discussed, but also made me cherish life a lot more. Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. A toxic relationship in a Gossip Girl kind of London. Loved it. Super intense, super emotional. Didn't let me go, but yeah. In some parts a little bit too toxic. Still absolutely amazing. Then I've listened to Crave by Tracy Wolf, a story about a vampire or supernatural academy. vampire story, a super lighthearted teen fantasy romance. Not extremely great, but fun. Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. To me, even a little bit better than Magnolia Parks. Like the main character a lot more. We get into some gangs business. My reading experience of this one just wasn't as perfect as I hoped it would be. Because of personal reasons. Because I was on vacation. But in my opinion, better than Magnolia Parks. Fable by Adrienne Young. A sea adventure story, not as fantasy driven as I've hoped it would be. Enjoyed it, but not my absolute favorite. The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. A super interesting Criminal Minds FBI teen story with teens who have supernatural powers. Was very action-packed and the plot shocked me at the end, but a little bit too fast-paced. Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, a sister trying to find the murderer of her sister witch. A witchy story, demons, but not enough side characters, felt very lacking. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick, the complete opposite of Kingdom of the Wicked. Too many side characters, couldn't get a grasp of the story. Tarot cards, darkness living inside the main character. Interesting plot, but just a little too much for me. The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. Lonely witch, trying to find a family, trying to find a meaning in life, getting found by this one family, and super wholesome, super cute. I absolutely loved it. Witches coming together. It was absolutely everything. Absolutely amazing. I have no words. Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. Memoir about Gilmore Girls. Lauren Graham's journey of becoming famous and becoming a Gilmore Girl and her story after. I enjoyed it, but some parts I just didn't really agree with. But it was really fun getting a view inside the makings of Gilmore Girls and inside Lauren Graham's head. House of Furies by Madeleine Roux. YA gothic horror story that is very creepy and super dark, and everything that happened here was really magical and eerie. Absolutely loved it. Stunning book. Completely surprised me because I didn't really have it on my radar at all. The Book of Lost Things by John Connolly. Really, really messed up fairy tales. Didn't really click with the writing style. I just, didn't really enjoy it as much as I hoped I would have. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Prequel to The Hunger Games. Jon Snow's, not Jon Snow's, I always say Jon Snow, I'm so sorry, Cornelius Snow's story. I don't know, Jon Snow just sounds right in my head because of Game of Thrones, but no, Cornelius Snow. Cornelius Snow's story of how he became Cornelius Snow. Enjoyed it, was really grossed out at the end of everything that happened. And at the beginning kind of sympathized with him, which was a weird feeling knowing who he is. A Wish for Us by Tilly Cole, a musical genius who can see colors, going to a music school in the US. In the middle it had a super dramatic plot twist. It was a little bit over the top and super heartbreaking, completely not what I expected to get, and really reminded me of Colleen Hoover's books. Didn't absolutely love it, but it broke my heart into a million pieces. A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. The final installment in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Really slow in the beginning, but the end made me breathless. I was sobbing at the end. Couldn't let these characters go. Absolutely loved it because of the ending. Yeah. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. My very first spicy book. It was very different than I expected. A lot more wholesome and sweet. I really loved the relationship. It was super healthy And yeah, absolutely loved it. And the last book that I have read in 2023, because I took a reading break in December, was Never by Jessa Hastings. I'm still trying to find words for this book. It's a Peter Pan retelling. It was, I had such high expectations for it and I absolutely hated it. It was the worst book I have ever read. Super gross Peter Pan and super gross love triangle. Hated it. 1 star. I absolutely loved this reading year. I feel like it had a lot of potential for this year. And I've really figured out like what I enjoy reading and what I don't enjoy reading. Even though my last book of 2023 was a 1-star review, I still really think I've learned a lot from last year. I hope you could take something from this video. Let me know in the comments what your best and worst book of 2023 was. I would love to know. Yeah, so I think that's all for today's video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!